to another episode of Booster Gold GG. Back at Lorcana. Today we're going to do something interesting. We're going to take a look at something that we don't see a lot of. So, you see, Lorcana is a great game. It's of course new. It's still got relatively fresh base. Only 2 sets in. And right now the competitive scene is being dominated by Ruby Amethyst, which is red purple. You see, you've got 50% of your top 8s on average or more are Ruby Amethyst. Then you've got decks that are tier 2 that would be like your Amber Ruby decks or Yellow Red, your Amber Steel decks that are based around songs. It's Yellow Gray. Then you've got Ruby Sapphire or Red Blue controllers decks. You've got your Sapphire Steel or Blue Gray. You got a lot of that. What you don't see is you don't see a lot of Ruby Steel decks. And what I want to look at today is the ability of Ruby Steel to be a good mid-range deck. And I think there's 2 routes you can go with that. I think you can go a semi-aggressive, like almost an aggro control, where you build your deck around Shere Khan and challenging, and you just control the board that way while gaining lore. There's great cards that work well with that. Things like Maui with Reckless. You've got things like Simba and other cards that increase your lore whenever they banish a character in a challenge. Really good with Shere Khan. I think there's that route, and then I think there's just a straight mid-range route you can take. So we're going to look at the mid-range route first, and we're going to see what we can do there. We're going to go through and we're going to pick our staples, and we're going to then make our cuts. Due to technical difficulties, this is our 3rd attempt at recording this for a stream. So what we're going to do is, for our Ruby Steel deck, again, those of you just tuning in, welcome. We are taking a look at something different today, something we don't see a lot of Ruby Steel. We are going to take a look at 2 different versions of Ruby Steel, see which one is viable, see what changes we can make along the way to make them viable. If they're not viable out of the gate, obviously first attempts almost never work. We're going to look at a mid-range control deck with cards like Be Prepared and Grab Your Swords and late-game creatures. And then we're going to look at a more aggro control with Shere Khan, where you're controlling the board through challenging and gaining lore along the way, with creatures that can also quest if there's nothing to challenge. So, without further ado, let's get into it and see what we can come up with. We're going to look at the control version first, the mid-range version first. We're going to go with cards. Let's look at our red first. Obviously, we're not playing Elsa. So, 4 Maleficent, 4 Maui. We'll start off with those. I like a couple Mickeys as your finisher. I think he's very underplayed, but I think he comes down late game after you have a clear board and starts questing. He's going to, on average, get you 8 lore out of the game. We've decided that our 1-drops are going to be Simba and Steel and Minnie Mouse, and Ruby Minnie Mouse because she's got a 3 butt, so she stands up to cards like Teeth and Ambitions. Our 4-drops are going to be Pongo, and we're going to play Pongo F4 and Beast and Steel F4. So let's get to, obviously we want 4 Be Prepareds. Let's see if we can get that Elsa off the screen.
Well, championships are the old relics around here. These cards actually go with the years. When the Lions won the NFL championship before the Super Bowl.
This is a fan-made app, and it's incredible. There are some changes that I recommend, and hopefully they'll come along the way. One is a side version of your deck where you can see the cards in order so you can see your curve up, and the other would be the ability in deck creation to see your analytics of the deck, how many 2-drops, how many 3-drops, so on and so forth, how many creatures, how many spells. Hopefully those will come. I'm sure they will. Again, you've done a great job for a fan-made app. Thank you very much for giving us the ability to play the game online the way you have. So we got 4 Pongos. Let's see, what else are we going to play in red? We want our 1-drop Minnie Mouses. We want potentially 2 Goofies. We're going to need to make some cuts because I think when we had the whole thing laid out earlier before it crashed, I think we're at 80 cards and need to make 20 cuts. So 3-drop things like Minnie Mouse with Evasive is great. I think 2-drops we decided to go with 2 Queens and 2 Cinderellas. Put 3 there. Scar was an option for this deck, but I think he's going to be one of the cuts we make because he's not inkable. And he's going to fit more into the Shere Khan deck. Shere Khan is going to have a lot of Lion King cards. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun deck because you're going to have that movie theme to it. Again, and I went over this, and I want to go over it again because we're recording this, and this is probably going to be the video that we post. So I want to explain why we're going Goofy over Donald Duck one more time. Donald Duck is 5-drop, Goofy is 5-drop, Donald Duck is a legendary, Goofy is a common. Goofy quests for 2, and it has 3 power, 4 butt, so he's going to come down, and his primary goal is going to be attack and kill other evasive creatures at first, or late game, just be the only evasive creature on the board, and a quest for 2. Donald Duck is going to come down, and he is only got a 1 power, but he gains lore for every damage he's taken. So you're going to play him, and you're going to start questing with him, they're going to attack into him, and because of his 5 butt, with most creatures on this curve having less than 5 power, he's going to be able to attack once for lore, and at least a second time for more lore. Hopefully after they've tried to attack him, you can play something to kill their creatures so you can protect him, and he's going to be more of your aggressive card. Goofy is more your control card. Did we miss Teeth Intermissions? We did. Where's Teeth Intermissions? Where did we miss Teeth? I'm losing my mind. We have something checked. Oh. Let's go through, find our Teeth Intermissions, and I think that's all. We were looking at potentially Dragonfire in the 5-drop spot, so we'll grab 2 of them, but it's probably going to get the cut because it's not inkable. Again, inkable cards are really important in this game. Basically, for all your magic heads, there basically are lands. However, you want more in these Lorcana decks than you would in a typical magic deck because you don't want to miss a turn of it. You want to be able to curve all the way up to 10 plus. I think that's all we're looking at for this deck out of red. We got the 3-drop minis. And again, if you're seeing some cards, you're like, oh, that's a really good red card, ruby card. Why isn't that in the deck? Again, we're going 2 different routes here. We're going a mid-range control, and then we're going to do more of an aggro control that focuses on challenges and questing more of those spells and late game creatures. So let's go for our steel cards, and then we'll start making cuts. And then we'll go ahead and build the, we'll go ahead and do the deck creation of the Scar deck after this, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So here we want our one drops. We decided Minnie Mouse was better than Hook in this particular deck because of teeth ambitions. However, our other one drop is going to be Simba, and our other two drop Prince Eric because 3 toughness goes great with teeth. So you're going to get more out of Prince Eric because of teeth. And then we wanted Tinkerbell's, obviously, she's a must-have. Simba is going to be great in the Shere Khan version of this deck that we're building. Hole in the World is good. We'll probably cut a couple of those because it's not going to be a lot. I'll focus on there. Smash is a great 3-drop. Beast is obviously a staple at 5. He's just so good. This was our other 4-drop. We're going to look at some Benjis and 2 Cinderellas for the card draw. Amari, we talked about uninkable. She's more of a she's going to go in the Shere Khan deck. Other than the Shere Khan deck, she's going to be more of a sideboard card. Tiana is easily, you could play Tiana or Minnie Mouse. They're the same exact card, just different colors. And because when you ink something, it doesn't see color, it does not make a difference in this game. The only thing that can potentially make a difference later on, if they include cards that are based on the subtypes, she is a hero princess and Minnie Mouse is only a hero. So later on, that might be a difference you want to pay attention to as new sets are introduced. I think that's all the great cards we were looking at playing. Now we can start making our cuts. Did I already put the 4-drop beast in here? I did. The Benjis and the Cinderellas. We're not playing 7-drop Cinderella because we're not playing a lot of enough songs to make her relevant. And again, she might be more of the Shere Khan since her focus is attacking ready characters, and the Shere Khan deck is going to be all based around challenging. And that's how we're going to generate most of our lore. Like cards like Tika, during your turn, whenever this character advances another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore. So with Shere Khan in play, he's going to gain you 3 lore. Simba's going to gain you, this Simba's going to gain you 2 lore, so on and so forth. I don't think there's any other early drops. Hercules is an option, but we don't really want him. This is going to be more of a control the board until we get a late game creature. Alright, now we'll make our cuts. Cuts and changes. Cuts and changes to this deck really quick because we want to get it down to 60 cards. So, Minnie Mouse, our 1-drops. We've got 8 1-drops. That's typical. Our 2-drops, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 8 2-drops plus the 2-drop spells. So that's 12 2-drop. Good there. We want to make 7 cuts. So we can cut. Goofy and Maui. We've got 2 Goofy. 4 Maui. Got 4 Beasts. I think we're actually going to cut down to 2 whole new worlds because this deck is not.
Complimentary class leading Blue Link Plus available on the new
It's down to 3 whole new worlds. 3-drop Benjis, Minis, and Smash. I think we can cut down to 2 Benjis and 3 Smash. Be prepared. 6 drops are Lady Tremaine. We want 4 of those. And we want 4 Sneakers. We don't want to cut any of those. I think we can cut a Beast. Pongo. Cut a Pongo. So we got 12 cuts now. Our late game finishers are going to be Maleficent, Mickey, Cinderella Beasts. I think we can cut. I don't really want to cut Mickey. I want to go down to two
on it, and a
beasts.
knee sleeve. He went back in the game, but when he came out, he was limping. He limped into the locker room. He's officially questionable to return with that knee. Mike?
Grab your swords is great, but we also have be prepared. Grab your swords is not inkable, so I think this is a deck where we're safe to go with 2 grab your swords. I think we might cut 2 teeth
In
ambitions.
2022, the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 won the award for World Car of the Year.
The reason we can cut 2 teeth
So,
ambitions
of
is
course,
because
the
we have
all-electric
Smash
Hyundai
as
Ioniq
well.
6 just had to go out and win World Car of
And I
the Year
think
for
we can cut 2
2023.
dragon fires because it's
World Car of the
uninkable.
Year 2 years in a row. And right now, you
Oh,
can get a
so we've got enough
$7,500
removal.
EV bonus on both the 2024 Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6.
I think we do
Now,
have enough
competitive sibling
removal. I
rivalries.
think we can cut at least 1
Into a
dragon fire.
TurboTax move of the game. The Lions defense
Two
made maximum
beasts.
impact against the Rams. Led by defensive end Luke Hutchinson, linebacker
Really
Alex
need to do
Anzalone,
much
and
up
safety
before we're
CJ
gonna cast a lot of
Gardner-Johnson. They held LA to 6 points in the second half as Detroit earned their first playoff win in 32 years.
Beast might
Make your
actually
moves
be better
count.
than Pawn.
Switch to TurboTax for tax experts that will get your maximum refund guaranteed. Intuit TurboTax, proud
Where's
sponsor
our
of the
4 cup? So
NFL.
I'll go back up to 4 beasts.
I'm Jason Jennings, football legend.
I'm gonna go back up to 4 beasts. He's just 3-4, he's bigger body early. When you're playing a whole new world, you can get away with like a 61 card deck. It's not as important to be in 60 cards as it is in Magic the Gathering, where you're only playing like 20, anywhere from 22 to 26 lands. Your whole deck is almost your whole deck is going to be inkable cards, so you can play a couple more to be on curve, especially when you're doing a lot of card draw like this with Whole New World and Bees, Simbas, Cinderellas. As far as our 2 drops go, we've got Queen, Cinderella. I think we can actually cut
Yeah, my grandpa did. So I'm
Queen
right in,
or
but I was
Cinderella
talking
1
about
and
your
2 because
sir.
we're gonna go with 4 heirs.
For the military.
So I think we're gonna cut the 2 queens. Down to 64. We're already at 2 Benjis. We're at 3 Smash.
Ahmed Fareed, Devin McCourty. Devin, what have you seen so far?
Right now, the Detroit Lions offense is capitalizing on third down. Tampa can't get off the field.
Maybe we cut a
Mahomes on the
Mickey.
road in Buffalo. Toyota halftime coming up, Mike. All right, Devin and Tires
cut a
here
Mickey.
on site in Detroit. Look forward to hearing from everybody here at the half. Full timeouts for both teams as we go into the final 2 minutes here.
Beast is
Hard in the game right now. The Buccaneers defense, they have to make a play. They can't allow it to go
need
down.
this guy.
Put another touchdown on the board here.
Off going left side. Amon St. Bradley catch. Twisted down by Izzian, the rookie, but St. Brown able to keep his balance. He got a first down. It's a Bucs territory.
We've seen explosive plays by the Lions defense.
Let's cut to 3
We have not
Maui.
seen those same explosive plays by the Buccaneers defense.
Let's see. So the wrist came down, then I think the elbow came down on the back end. So we're going to take a peek upstairs in
Let's cut the
replay as we are
3
inside of
minis.
2 minutes
Runner
here.
was down inbounds.